welcome to the Compass. I couldn't help myself. I had to get it out of my system. Fuck it. All right. Where do I want to start? So, we are into the 06-07. Well, the summer of 2006, basically. And for Shaquille O'Neal standards, and really for actually no, just for Shaquille O'Neal standards, this is a boring, uneventful offseason. Possibly the least eventful offseason of his career thus far. I feel comfortable with that. I feel like we're talking about mad shit every
usually
time.
Usually there's some type of like him not working out or something, like some type of controversy
or his funny. He would deliver this State of the Union before each season where he would just run down whoever the best people were in the league, like the kings and the queens and the talking about Duncan and the Spurs, shit like that.
Yeah,
but nothing like that. Shit. Yeah, just his shit. Just that one article, and towards the end of the Laker run, we were spending 45 minutes to an hour of extra podcast time just to fucking get through the off season. That will not be this episode.
Well, it's not the off season that he gets his shit talking, and it's more so in the middle of the season he does.
That's true. That's true. But he does have one group of people to talk smack to during the preseason. Really no offseason drama. The Heat don't really make any serious roster moves either. No. If we're looking at let's just look at the regular rotation from a minutes standpoint.
Which is crazy to think that they wouldn't.
Basically all the same guys. Literally almost every single person is the same.
It's not like they dominated the season before for them not to be we could just bring this whole team back. They had a 6-game series with the Pistons.
Yeah.
And then had they had a 6-game series with the Mavs, but they were looking like they were about to get smoked.
Yeah.
So it's not like they were just dominating the league.
Yeah, but I think if you're Pat Riley, who's, doing the old coach GM type situation.
Yeah.
The slash deal. You're looking at it these are my guys. We're running it back. We got to give them the opportunity to try and run it back. These guys are grizzled veteran warriors, but has to be the oldest team in the league, right?
Yeah.
7 guys
probably.
Over 30 years old in 2006. This has got to be. It'll be on your screen if I'm wrong, but this has got to be the oldest team in basketball. It has to be.
Or at least one of them. Well, you got to think about it. This was a man's league at this point. Still, it wasn't.
But that's why I made a point to say 2006, 2007, because we are seeing the influx of high school kids come into the league now. The kids are getting younger and younger. This 06, 07, this is Durant's.
Well, the high school kids are done at this point. Bynum was the last high school kid that could come in the league.
Right. But when did he get drafted? What year was that?
I think last year, I want to say.
That's what I'm saying. So there's the influx of young talent is still in the system.
But
also,
at this point
lots of 19-year-olds are coming in too.
But at this point in the league, I'd say that there's still way more older veteran players than there are younger, spry. You only really have some of those superstars that old 03 class. You can look at the age.
I'm curious. The age. Yeah, I'm curious. So this is the youngest. Actually, let's get our season first.
Yeah,
Let's
go by the season.
Otherwise, I'm going to be searching. So 06, 07. That its average age is 26.6.
It's pretty much been like that mostly all of the history of the league. Really, people make it seem like that's crazy. It's almost
in the bottom. It's pretty. It's either in the middle or.
But look at the actual number.
It's definitely not the youngest or the oldest.
Yeah, but look at the actual number. Don't look at it's 26 or 27 years old. It's not. Yeah. It's been the same pretty much throughout the history of the league.
Yeah, But even a few years ago, look, even a few years ago, 04, 05, 03, 04, it's closer to 27, significantly older in terms of average age, I think.
Yeah. I just think it's insignificant. Like,
and then when Shaq was in like his peak, it was the oldest the league had been.
Yeah.
So it is definitely trending younger, 100%.
Yeah. Or just trending what it was. I don't know. Like, that's insane. I would think that it would be much more fluctuation than that. Like, it's literally from 26 to maybe, did it get to 28? Yeah, 28.
28, 98, 99 was the oldest at 27.9. And the youngest is 26.1. Yeah, so crazy. And these last few seasons being it's going to get under 26. Like, I feel like it'll probably get under 26 within these next couple of years. Like, at least maybe like 25-8. That's within possibility as we see these last few seasons. We're in 21-22. We just finished it.
Those are the youngest years?
Yeah, these are the absolute youngest on record.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
that's like
it's realistic. But this Heat team is fucking old. And Shaq is trending that way too. Like, almost, he's how old is he? 34, 35?
He's about to be 35 this year.
34 and a half, basically a little more 34 and a half when he comes into the regular season against Chicago. But he's talking in the preseason about the basketballs. So I guess they switched into like
the whole team was.
They went from like the old standard leather. It'll be on your screen. The older leather to like a microfiber. The NBA says it's a microfiber composite with moisture management that provides superior grip and feel throughout the course of a game.
Yeah,
some dick riding shit to say it will be better for gameplay. I guess concerning like sweat.
Yeah. On the a lot of players made it seem like it was one
palms.
Of those titty balls. You know what I'm talking about? Those titty balls that you would get when you were younger, and like they like literally.
No, I never got any titty balls when I was younger.
Wait, I'll explain to you what I mean. Once I say what I mean, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. Those balls that literally like you bounce them the wrong way, and then they'll get like a big like lump.
What? I've never heard of this.
You've never had a ball? Yo, the people, if you know, you know.
I'll try to find. You got to send it to me, so I can put it on the screen.
They get like titties, like they call them a titty, like because it's
Lindsay,
like a big.
Do you know about these like titty balls?
No, I don't.
Like usually, it's like if you play a lot of basketball, like there's a lot, Even in high school, I mean, in elementary.
Oh, well, if you play basketball, you're talking about the basketballs with the weird growth, like we call them tumor balls.
Yeah, we call them titty balls because they look like little titties.
To me, they look like horrible cancerous growths.
Yeah.
That's all I can think
of. Titty balls, that's what I'm talking about.
So
what else did you think I was talking about? We're talking about basketballs. What did you think I was?
I thought you were talking about like a ball that popped.
No.
What'd you say, Lynn?
No, I was talking about the.
One man sees titties and another man sees tumors. I don't know what that says about both of you.
Yeah, you already know.
These are facts.
Yo, both titty and tumor. You let us know. Pick the team. Comment.
Tell us what you think. Tell us what you called it in grade school. When you had that ball that would dribble back to your hand.
Titties, tumors, like look at that algorithm.
Somebody's gonna write. We would call this ball bullshit, and we would throw it out immediately. Fuck those basketballs.
Yeah. Fuck you, rich people. Some people didn't have that luxury, motherfuckers.
Shaq, Shaq, the Heat center Shaquille O'Neal is no fan of the new. Heat center Shaquille O'Neal is no fan of the new basketballs to be used by the NBA this season, and isn't afraid to say so. Quote: "It's the worst decision some expert, whoever did it, ever made. The NBA's been around how long? 100 years? 50 years? It's neither, by the way. It's like around 60 at this point. So to change it now,
he was
whoever
on the 50th year anniversary team. He's an asshole.
He needs to know these things.
Yeah.
Fucking whoever that person is needs his college degree revoked. It's a terrible decision. It's ridiculous. He's. It's only the second time in 60 seasons the NBA has changed its game balls, and the first time in 35 years. Have you played with the two balls that we're talking about in question?
I'd have to
What's
look at that.
What's your ball playing experience, Dario?
Ball playing experience. I have to. Could you look? Could you show me the two?
Okay, so we have.
We'll just fast forward like I knew.
1990s. So like this kind of ball.
Okay.
This type of ball. Right. You know, the old school leather, the older leather ball. And then
versus the one that okay.
Let's see if I get to I know so hold on. Versus this one. It's got a little bit more grip to it.
I see. Okay.
This type deal. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference.
Yeah. There's definitely a difference. I personally like that ball better. But
You do.
Yeah. Because I think I could see why if someone's been used because you gotta remember like it's all touch feel and everything in basketball. So if you get in a brand new basketball that feels completely different, it can throw off your rhythm.
But, 100%. 100%. You're fucking with the same thing every single day.
Yeah.
Like.
So I could see how, but I personally didn't really like those leather balls when I played basketball, to be honest. So, they always felt annoying as shit on like my fingers and fingertips and stuff like that.
For people like you and me who play on the weekends and use the same basketball more than one time, I think these balls are way better. Like the NBA ball that everyone hated. This picture's from a Vice documentary about it, but I think for people who played in the gyms in college and like, you know, just to fuck around, like, you know, weekend heroes, this ball is great. As opposed to this ball where you play with it a few times and the leather would start to tear away or the grip would just be fucking ruined after one or two playthroughs. Yeah. But for the NBA, that literally changes the basketball. Do they use the same basketball after the game? Like once the game ends?
No, I think they switch them sometimes. I think they switch them at halves.
That's what I'm saying. Why are we? I don't know. I guess from both standpoints, like why are we switching it? This ball is perfect when I would rather use this ball when it's fresh. I like these some fresh leather balls.
I don't know how many times I've used that ball when it's fresh. Like
when it's fresh, the grip is fire. Like it's nice, and the grooves are better. I think this is some nerdy next level shit. But
yeah, I mean,
nobody liked this ball. It didn't last very long.
Yeah,
it didn't last very long. But yeah, there were lots of complaints about it. Nobody liked it. It didn't last long. They changed it.
It at least went through the whole season, right?
I'm not sure
because I think you pulled stats showing that season was like the highest turnover season within the 2000s.
So the next thing that Shaq talks about, right? Feels like one of those cheap balls you buy at a toy store. Indoor, outdoor balls. Exactly what I was just saying. Exactly what I was just saying. For you and me, that's the stuff that's better, I think. I look for shooting percentages to be way down and turnovers to be way up. So that's what Shaq expected.
Yeah.
This is every year after the year 2000. And for the 06-07 season, turnovers were up half a turnover.
Yep.
Nothing too but I think it was outrageous.
I think in total it was the highest out of all the years, I think.
In terms of what? Turnovers?
Turnovers, yeah.
Like total turnovers?
Yeah. TOV.
Where?
That's
I got
per
it.
game. Sorry, no, but it's per game.
Yeah, it's still per game.
Yeah,
It's definitely not the highest. It's in the middle, but I do want to look at field goal percentage.
You said you have put it out of everything past the 2000 season, so it was the highest of the 2000.
Yeah, this is look. That's why I did it too, because look, all these years are before 2000.
Yeah, like I think that's the first 2000 season that comes up when you.
But if we're doing field goal percentage. So these are all 60 seasons. Then you have 2003, 2004.
40,
03, 04, 05.
It wasn't as big as it was. The field goal percentage didn't change that much.
Completely wrong.
Yeah,
absolutely wrong.
I think it was like regular, but the turnovers make sense though, because the ball slipping out of your hand makes way more sense. Like shooting, like you, for the most part, you're going to have your grip on the ball when you're shooting, I guess. Like, it's not going to be that, like, and you get used to the shooting. Like, I feel like the dribbling is where you gotta, the handling of the ball.
Total turnovers, it is number one since, so he was right about that. Since 2000 of total turnovers, not turnovers per game, but even turnovers per game, it does.
It should be.
It is number one by a hair.
There's no reason that it should be different.
Yeah. But they got it by a little more than 1,000 turnovers in total. So I guess he was right in to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But let's the other thing that happened in the preseason, they're talking about his free throw style. He changed the hitch that he has in his free throw.
Like, yeah, because he's had the worst 2 free throw shooting seasons of his career at 46%. It's like, bitch, like no one, like get out of here. Like he's all right, sure, he's gonna go from 46% to what, 50? Like it's still
basically
shitty.
Let's see.
Like shit, you're comparing shit to shit. Like get out of here. You're comparing hot shit on a stick to cold turds in a bowl. Yeah.
That is
that's the part that really comparison. Excuse me. That's the part that really like screws up Shaq when he gets older, because it's like when you really think about it, you have this big guy who's not gonna be as athletic because he's fat as hell. Yeah. You got this guy that he doesn't have the same post moves, power, anything like that. He's injury prone. He's a free throw liability, and he is a foul out liability as well. Like this guy, what biggest moments, he's just fouling out of the game. Like, and this has been like, it's not even like you could say it and be like, oh, it's just onesie twosies. Like this guy at his prime, 2000 season game, like literally the series is on the line against the Pacers, fouls out game 5. Like this is the thing. Like
he does this. This is his specialty. But the one thing that I was laughing at while you were saying that is this happens to be his worst free throw shooting season of all time that we're about to come into. Yeah. Well, after all this talk about
behind the other two, it was like when he went to Miami, he was just like, can't shoot free throws.
It's like, I'm done with it. Yeah. But when he got to Miami, he was like, I'm just the old guy now. I'm here I'm the team chemist.
But even in after that,
once he got his now he's got his championship. What do we know? When Shaq gets the championship, well, what did he learn from Phil Jackson? Once you get the championship, just chill, bro. You're good. You did it. Chill. Give your body a break.
Don't stress, bro. Don't
stress. Don't fucking stress out.
Yeah.
So,
and if you got time out, I do need to say something. If you guys are wondering why I just randomly have this Lakers shirt, Kobe Bryant shirt, it'll come up soon.
I was like, I'm sure they're patiently waiting for you to talk about Kobe for the how many of these have we done? 400, 300 of that 300 video. Fucking, but the Heat. Speaking of being chill and relaxing, they are going to relax for the very first game of the regular season. They get their rings, and then they get smashed by 42 points.
Yeah,
to the Bulls, or by the Bulls. More on them later. But God, such a bad omen. all things considered. Just a
Yeah.
smashing.
I completely
7 of
forgot
13
about
from 3.
Yeah.
Amazing.
By the time getting to the end of the season, I kind of forgot that this was the team that smashed them.
Smashed them.
Yeah.
And Shaq, horrible, horrific.
Yeah.
25 minutes, 3 of 10. Did he even play in the fourth quarter? I don't think he did.
No, he didn't. He didn't. I think he was in foul trouble too, though, wasn't he?
He's always in fucking foul trouble. To your point.
Yeah, he didn't play.
Did not play in the fourth quarter. None of the starters played in the fourth quarter. It was just an absolute.
They were down by I think 29. By some point in the after the third, and I think Pat Riley was just like, we're gonna call it a day.
Only 2 fouls for Shaq, but plus minus of minus 19. Just an absolute anal penetration on a night where Dwayne Wade scores 25 points on 10 of 15 shooting.
Yeah.
But
with 3 assists.
Yeah.
And
because nobody else can fucking make anything. Yeah, I'm sure he tried.
When you're shooting 38% and you're trying to pass it to people,
For New York Times wrote, for 17 glorious minutes, complete with fireworks and blasts of flame, the Miami Heat held an elaborate pregame celebration of a championship they'll always remember. And then came the game, which the Heat will try to quickly forget. Kirk Heinrich scored 26 points, Chris Duhon added 20, and the Bulls emphatically spoiled Miami's championship ring party, winning 108-66, which was by far the worst loss in NBA history for a defending champion on opening night to that point. It wasn't the worst all time for a reigning champion, but it was pretty close. Orlando beat the Bulls 115-68 in 1999 when Jordan and Pippen and Phil Jackson, everybody left, and they were the defending champions in theory. Yeah. This is not that. This is the worst loss for a
team that, and they brought that entire team back. So
because as we talked about, everybody's back. They're just ancient. They're just absolutely ancient.
After winning a chip is insane. It's just so bad. I feel like if you're a Heat fan at this point, because you're talking all this shit, probably we about to go back to back. Shaq already talked all this shit during the parade. I'm ready for this. And then you're like, we did the baby Bulls. We've been facing these guys, beating them. We good. We just showed them who was boss last playoffs, and then you get smoked.
Just absolutely
continuously by this team too. They lost 3 games by a lot to this team.
Yeah, but I don't know if they had their complete roster in each of these games as we're about to get into, because this is Shaq's game log, and as you can see, he doesn't make it very long before he needs knee surgery.
Wait, time out. I did, before you do that, because I did want to bring up one of those quotes. So this is the after worst loss after a championship team.
Yeah,
and it was the Los Angeles Lakers back in 1982. Wasn't Pat Riley the coach at that point?
Yep.
Is it so? It's pretty. To me, it was pretty insane that 2 of his teams were part of those losses, especially being the type of coach that he is. You would think if someone was so militant and have your team on point, that they wouldn't be getting smoked like this, especially not in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I guess in the beginning of the season it makes more sense.
But one could argue that he could be overworking his guys to get there, which could lead to that.
Yeah.
Especially this old veteran team. These guys aren't trying to bust their ass in practice and get beat up. Shaq's already said it. I'm not busting my ass in practice. I'll get beat up in a game. I'm not going to get beat up twice. It was never worth it to him. But
he's right overall for that.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how much he's. I said overall, it makes sense for a career in totality.
Yeah.
But I think he personally needed it with how overweight he was.
Oh,
how
Shaq,
little
yeah.
work-
And his age, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, it worked. That's why they got
He
to the
took-
championship. It
Yeah.
worked for him.
because he thought like tries to do the LeBron thing, right? Where LeBron's takes a little bit of rest throughout the season to kind of build himself up for the postseason. But the
Yeah.
whole thing is LeBron is in like magnificent shape throughout the whole season. You know
Right.
what I mean? Versus
Yeah.
this guy's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna eat hot dogs, hamburgers, all this other, you know what I mean? Being fat
Yeah.
as hell. And so you can't do, like, you had to still be disciplined. I think he wasn't that.
I'm glad you stopped me before we talked about the knee, because I did want to talk about this Nets game where the Miami Heat win, right? The Heat and the Nets, Shaq versus the Nets. The people are trying to turn it, be like, oh, this is a rivalry, Heat Nets, because they've seen each other a lot.
Yeah.
But since from Shaq's first championship to now, he's 13-5 versus the Nets in the regular season, and in the playoffs, as we know, I think he's only got the one loss.
Yeah,
that's it.
And for Jared, who's just like, not the same Nets team. Well, guess what, Jared? They went to the whole freaking NBA Finals and got swept, motherfucker. So it was like the best net team, worst net team, whatever, what in the net team. So get your goofy ass out of here, boy. All right,
so, overcoming early foul trouble, Wade drove and dished off in the second half Friday night to lead Miami to a 91-85 victory. He had help from the Heat's aging but still dominant center, Shaquille O'Neal, who used his strength in the post to score 21 points. He's a big guy. Nets center Nedad Kristic, a guy I've never heard of, and I was at least playing the video games at that point to enjoy dunking all over this guy, but never heard of him. Nenad Kristic, who showed good shooting range and scored 20 points, said of Shaq, "It's hard to play against him. Maybe he got old, but he's dangerous. Offense, defense, no matter what, he's number one still." I feel like that's an important, like.
But why? Who is this guy? We don't even
So
care
this
about.
is, but this is, it's so it is important because these are the starting centers in the league right now.
Oh,
like,
yes.
We're in a drought. The
Yeah.
biggest reason why Shaq had any kind of longevity is because he could age somewhat gracefully and still be considered the most dominant guy, because the best centers in the league were shitty.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think of centers. Like,
Yao is the best center at this point. That he'd be
right?
going against. Yeah. Dwight is just now like kind of like Dwight just finished getting euthanized by Kobe last year. First Kobe mark. You guys could like put a little dinger on there.
There you go. Ding.
Yeah.
So they consider Pau Gasol a center in 06-07 here.
Yeah. Amari's not a center. There's no way. He's a power forward.
No. Shaq's not going to be on this list.
Dwight,
because
what's Dwight on? Yeah, because he only played 30 games. He's 17 and 12. That's not bad. That's better than Shaq this year.
But they're considering Amari Stoudemire center. I put those two more as power forwards.
Yeah, definitely power forwards.
Same thing with Duncan. But this is the era that we're in. Like,
I was gonna say, if Duncan is a center, he's been the best center in the league for like.
That's fact. So that's
4 years.
Yeah.
That's the case.
But because of Shaq's sheer size and the lack of center talent, it's easy for him to still go around, literally throw his weight around and score.
Yeah.
And like,
for sure.
So people still respect him because he's so physical. And at the end of the day,
at this point.
Yeah. And as we've heard a million times, he's the best football player in the NBA, according to him. Said it a million times.
Man. Yeah.
But I just thought that was interesting. Like, he's still respected, despite the fact that, like, looking at it with almost 20 years of hindsight now, obviously he's on the downswing, and he's not the same guy that we just saw from a few years ago in LA. But he's still respected to that level.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's interesting because, you know, we can see the deterioration. Like, he's obviously aging, but boy, he still intimidates the NBA. And one of the guys he doesn't intimidate, right? Is this the... Yeah, this is the Yao Ming game. Speaking of Yao Ming.
There's no way that Yao didn't take, like, Shaq's first initial comments or about him being Chinese and stuff, making fun of him to heart, and always think, like, I'm a dog him.
He did the Kobe. Put it in my pocket. Put it in my fucking shirt pocket. And, you know, keep that close to the chest.
Yao's a whole
motivation. Bitch. Motivation.
Yao had 40 billion people behind him, and his bitch ass didn't even say nothing. I would have said something to Shaq, bitch ass.
40 billion!
You telling me? Yo, Yao literally has... they had a stat about Yao Ming. One of the only players to have an all-star appearance in every single year he's played. No shit, Sherlock. You have literally a whole country just voted for you.
That was the first time you saw anything like that, though. Like, that was when the fans had 100% control of the votes, too.
Yeah.
And so it was just massive Yao Ming.
Like, Yao would literally... There was literally years that Yao Ming didn't even... Like, he didn't play for, like, most of the season. He did not play,
and he was a starter. That's happened to Allen
Iverson. And he literally would, like, laugh
before.
And be like, nah, just go to the next guy. Like, I'm not...
A couple of guys.
I can't play. Like...
But he was amazing in this game against Shaq. He destroyed Shaq. And nobody has, to this point, has ever put up the numbers that Yao put up during this game. ESPN's going to write, Shaquille O'Neal was dominated, but he wasn't impressed. Yao Ming won his matchup with O'Neal, finishing with 34 points and 14 rebounds Sunday night to lead the Rockets to their fourth straight victory over the Heat. 94-72 against Miami. It was the 945th regular season game of Shaq's career, and the first time that the opposition starting center had outscored him to that wide a margin. Shaq had what? 15 points?
Yeah.
15 and 10 for Shaq. Only one other center had ever had 34 or more points and 14 or more rebounds in a game against Shaq. And that guy did it twice, and it was Patrick Ewing in separate games against rookie Shaq in 93. Wild. He's pretty much the same, just big, 7'6". He's just doing what he's supposed to do.
Well, what did Hakeem do to him? I thought Hakeem did something similar. Like,
I'm sure Hakeem has had big fucking games against Shaq. Yeah. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if I'll be able to get there.
Yeah, I thought in the NBA Finals he at least put like a 30 piece with like 15 rebounds or something like that, but I might be wrong. Because when I saw that, I was like, I'm surprised Hakeem is not on this list.
So here's 31 points, but 7 rebounds, 30 points, 12 rebounds, not 34 and 14.
Yeah, gotcha.
But still, very obviously very dominant.
Yeah.
Hakeem, go. Love you, Hakeem. Well, more on you at a later date, my friend. But we, let's see. My only chance to keep Shaq, Yao Ming said, my only chance against Shaq is to keep him on the run. Shaq is much stronger and bigger than me. I don't know how you figure that. My only chance on beating him is to keep running and running against him.
You don't think Shaq is stronger and bigger than him at this point?
I don't think he's bigger. I definitely think he could be stronger, but I don't think he's bigger.
He's taking a big.
Nobody's bigger. Nobody's bigger.
But he's talking about like I think you're talking about length, and he's talking about mass.
Yeah. Yes. I'm talking about.
Well, that's what he has to be talking about. If he's talking about bigger. Yeah. That's what
I'm saying. It's weird that he said that. To me, it threw me off. But yeah, my only chance is to keep running and running against him. Every time I score on him, I was happy like a kid on it's like a kid getting getting candy on Halloween because it's really too hard to score on him. Just too hard. So much respect. So much respect against this guy. And Shaq in the third quarter is going to move past Patrick Ewing for 14th on the NBA's career scoring list.
And you
so
know,
he's moving
Shaq
up in the scoring list too.
Shaq was pissed when he was showing him the respect. He's like, "Fuck you, like get out of my face."
Fuck you, Yao. You big bitch, 7'6" bitch. You're
Ho.
nothing. Fucking but
I eat your cats for breakfast, bitch.
after starting the season, stupid. After the Heat start what? 3 You gonna make it?
I'm good, man.
After the Heat start 3-3, Shaq's gonna need knee surgery.
It was in that same game too. That was like I like how they were ready to completely shit on Shaq. What if he like got injured throughout the game? Sound like he hyperextended his knee.
He tore his knee. He tore his cartilage in his left knee against Houston. An injury originally diagnosed as a hyperextended knee.
Yeah.
Shaq was expected to play Friday against the Knicks here, where they lost by 24. They got their ass just pumped with love against the Knicks. And Eddie Curry. But knee stiffness sent him to the doctor Friday for an MRI that revealed a flap tear in the articular cartilage. So another lower extremities tear or injury for Shaq.
That's definitely like an old person injury too, because like he definitely just hyperextended his knee, and like if it was like a younger person, it would have just been like, oh, it's sore for a couple of days. Instead, he tore his shit because his shit was like, nah, I can't handle this. Plus, I'm sure his weight. I promise you, if Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would have hyperextended his knee at 35, he would have been aight. I'm just saying.
Or they would have been. They would have just used 80s logic. They would have just been like, yeah, just sprinkle some crack on it and get out of here.
Get through it.
All today. Fucking.
Why you gotta be cracked though? He could. Kareem making money.
Because it's the 80s. That's what it is.
He's sniffing coke at that point. He making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you making money. You're not smoking crack if you're making money. Like, there's no way. The only person that I know that's doing that was the fucking the LT.
Mike. I was gonna say Lawrence Taylor. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, I think, did that. Lots of cocaine for sure.
But not while he was rich though. Sure. Yeah, also cocaine is different though. But he was probably smoking crack as a kid. He wasn't smoking crack as an adult. If Mike Tyson was smoking crack while he was fighting.
And you wonder why Lawrence Taylor was so good at chasing down a quarterback. Yeah. He's all cracked out.
Yeah, you wonder why he could play with broken shoulders and shit. Because he's just like, oh! Russian motherfucker.
But, oh my God. Fucking. So, Shaq. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. You know what's interesting about this whole thing with Shaq and his lower extremities is he really thought that when he was a kid, when he asked Dale Brown what he needed, he asked him for lower extremity plan. So he's almost like foreshadowing for his years of having destroyed legs.
Yeah. You see?
I just thinking about this now, and I thought that was ironic.
Yeah.
All these leg injuries, and
he probably tells that story like that so then it could make him seem like he's just like a genie.
What do you mean? Shaq thinking about negative things in his career? Come on, that's not happening.
But I feel like he likes to like feel like he predicted the future.
Yeah, true, but he doesn't.
He always says, "Yeah,"
but that's too negative.
13 years old, you know.
He was like, "No, I never get hurt. I never get hurt. I've never been injured. All I do is dunk. I dunk on them. Most dominant center will be like me again. All these other guys are new pick and pop centers. They're the new era centers.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Shaq.
Why do you give him an Italian accent? Like,
I don't know.
Shaq is
because I don't know how to do. I don't know how to make my voice deep and not do the Italian accent. There's no other way to do it. What if I was just like, yeah, I'm Shaquille O'Neal. You know, I like eating pasta. Shaq, this is
me. What
me.
is that voice now?
That's like more Italian.
Yeah, that's why that was the point. Like, what if I just
I like how your voices are just Italian. Like,
yeah, what if I just turned Shaq into like a local deli owner?
Is Broderick Italian? Is Broderick Italian?
Not even close.
That's what I was saying. Like, I didn't think it was. So why are you just randomly Italian?
Because I hung out with too many Italians as a child.
I feel that.
But in between this long period of time, Shaq's going to be out over 40 games. I'll have the exact number for you in a minute, but the Orange County Register, new article I found in my deep dive of looking for shit for this great show we have of ours. They're talking about the Heat and Lakers trade, the original Shaq to the Heat trade. And this guy's case is the Heat and the Lakers both won. The rare but ideal result of a trade in sports where both teams get what they want. And now that Shaquille O'Neal is down and out again with his 132nd leg or foot injury in the past 3 years,
I thought you were like literally messing with me when you wrote that.
Swear on my mother's life, I didn't write that. It was in clear in writing, and yeah, I popped when I read it. Like I just burst out laughing when I read it. But yeah, now that he's down and out again with his 132nd leg or foot injury in the past 3 years, it's clear that the 2004 blockbuster was a hit all around. Yes, the Heat have started slowly and are facing the prospect of being Shaqless for nearly half the season. And Miami is going to be stuck paying O'Neal another $80 million until 2010, according to the contract. More on that later. Because he's not going to give up that crazy kind of dough and retire, not even to save face while he loses tread and goes all the way flat. But the Heat already won its title, its first title, and when you stop and think about what that means for the franchise, it's totally worth it. So basically, here's the trade-off, right? The Lakers get the Lakers trade Shaq. Shaq gets Miami their championship. Just as and the guy goes on to say, the Lakers knew that Shaq was going to deteriorate. Just as they knew 34 was the age when centers Bill Russell and Bill Walton played their final seasons. If you check the stats from last season, O'Neal was outscored by Mike James and out-rebounded by Jamal Magalore. Fucking.
Yeah.
But
two people.
The only way the Lakers would have had anything else is if Kobe decided he would have gone to Chicago or the Clippers, and then the Lakers could have worked, something different. But do you think it was a win-win trade? Do you think there was an obvious loser to this trade, considering what we know now?
Well, even at this point, like in 2007, or by now, like in 2022.
Yeah, by now, knowing what we know about the draft picks
in 2022.
Yeah.
Okay. So I agree with this guy. I think it was a win-win because at the end of the day, the Heat winning a championship was huge for that franchise.
Yeah.
I think it set up them winning more championships in the future. If they didn't win that championship, most likely, if Wade doesn't win a championship and he goes his whole contract extension without winning anything there, he doesn't really have that loyalty to them. Possibly the big three doesn't come. It's a whole chain of events with that. But then it's also, obviously, they have some core pieces in that trade that led to Kobe winning his 2 championships as well. And the Lakers winning 2 championships. So it's like they both won 3 championships within those, that 5-year, 6-year span?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the deal, the Heat traded Caron Butler, Brian Grant, Lamar Odom, and a 2006 first-round pick that later became Jordan Farmar.
My guy.
Yeah, who played on those championship teams, if I remember correctly.
Dude, yeah.
So sure. you got Lamar Odom, part of the championship team, and Jordan Farmar, part of the championship team. And Shaq would spend 3.5 seasons with the Heat before being traded to Phoenix. I think as a franchise in Miami, would you have considered Miami a basketball town?
No.
How about this? You ready for this? You ready for this? If Shaq doesn't win this championship, or if the Heat don't win the championship there, what happens when LeBron and Wade and Bosh are all free agents? The biggest reason they came to Miami.
They go to Cleveland.
Maybe. Or they go somewhere different. Maybe they go to the Knicks.
They ain't going to no damn Toronto. Fuck all that.
They're not going to pay double taxes. Toronto was out of the question.
Yeah.
But the biggest reason why LeBron specifically came to Miami is because Pat Riley shows him the rings. And Wade tells him, this is where I learned to be a champion. This is championship mentality. Like,
gonna say it now.
It's a big what if. It's a big
LeBron went
effect
to Miami because all the hoes. He said,
"You're stupid.
Fuck this, man, this
You're
shit.
stupid.
There's hoes here. We chill. We act like we want to win a championship this first year. Fuck all the hoes. Next championship, we good."
That is why Shaq went there, though. 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
I am saying that. I don't know. LeBron went there to win, but look. I don't know if the big three end up for sure 100% in Miami. Like, I don't think it's the 100% logical, obvious place to go because they put the Heat on the map there. Like, it became an more established basketball city. Like, it's still when LeBron was there and in Game 6, the Ray Allen shot, people were leaving the building. It's always it's just one of those places.
Because it's just there's so much other stuff. There's so much other stuff to do that it makes it. Yeah.
Fuck this game. I'm going to the beach.
Yeah, like fuck that. Yeah.
It's so nice outside. We all don't have to be in here. Like,
exactly.
It doesn't make sense. We could just
June,
be enjoying paradise. Facts. Facts. It's June. The water is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting when you think about the butterfly effect of it. And I feel like inevitably, at this point in 2006, 2007, the Heat win the trade. But looking at it in 2022, I think it's a win-win.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's a win-win for sure.
I'm surprised that guy had the hindsight to say that.
The foresight to be able to see.
Not the hindsight, the foresight.
I'm with you. I had it. I got your back.
Yeah, because I'm like, who would? Like, no one would still, like, I mean, Kobe, because he mentions, like, Kobe had an incredible season, all this other stuff, Phil Jackson's back, but it's like, it's still, like, no one would have thought, okay, the Lakers could have a real championship opportunity in the next couple of years. Like, no one would have thought that at that point.
I don't think anybody would have. I don't think anybody saw Lamar Odom becoming what Lamar Odom became. Like, he was budding. He was budding in Miami, and he was looked at as a nice piece. Yeah. But I don't think, like, that guy is underrated for your championship run there. Yeah.
Like when people talk about Magic Johnson, I'm not even trying to be stupid. Like, Lamar Odom is like a shitty version of Magic Johnson. Like,
a poor man's Magic Johnson.
Yeah, like, because he doesn't have the athleticism. It's similar to Magic. Like, Magic's athleticism wasn't super crazy. It was like, and he was like a great passer. He was a great point forward. Like, he did everything. Like, he just obviously wasn't the superstar Magic was. So it is interesting to look back at a guy like that. He's someone that completely I'm sure gets forgotten about.
Lamar Odom? Oh, yeah. But he'll not, mainly because of the crack. Like, speaking of crack.
Yeah.
Like, that's the main reason people know him now.
Like, that's why I'm saying, like, you can't be rich and a crackhead. Like, that don't make any sense. Like, and he was like a stupid crackhead. Like, there's no way, like, you have to be a different kind of person.
I feel like this is going to be the title of this episode.
Yeah.
Legacy Breakdown, Shaquille O'Neal. You can't be a rich crackhead. Right here.
You should definitely put that. Like,
I think that'd be fire. Fucking, but you brought up Phil Jackson a second ago.
Yeah,
and
he's back on game because at this point I was beefing with him. So. Yeah,
I was about to say what were you saying earlier about Shaq starting his bullshit in the middle of the season because he was bored?
Yeah.
Imagine if Twitter was more popular at this point. I'm pretty sure Twitter exists by now, or it's about to exist. When does it come out?
09 or something. 08, 09.
Okay, so it's not yet. But imagine if Twitter was like where it is now. Shaq would be a menace
Yeah.
Just a straight up Twitter menace.
He'd be Joel Embiid on crack. Like,
Joel Embiid, but like triple the annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
But just feeding ESPN headlines.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, I can go on this website and ESPN will post whatever the fuck I say. Like, they'll put whatever I write here, we'll make it on ESPN within like 45 minutes. Amazing. But someone forgot to tell Phil Jackson that you don't have to pick sides between Kobe Bryant and Shaq anymore. But being an inherent pot stirrer, which is facts, Jackson answered an innocuous question Saturday about Bryant's work ethic by bringing up how Shaq was the one guy that didn't really like to work in Jackson's coaching career.
So the part that pisses me off about this dude, because like just the thing is, we read this 3 weeks ago or a couple weeks ago, so it's not like it's something crazy. Like 3 years ago, he was like completely on Shaq's side.
Yep.
And he was like all against Kobe, and then now he's saying shit like this. Like this is
but you know what the major shift was, right?
What?
We discussed it. We talked about it at the end of last season.
Oh yeah. It was him. It was him saying because even Phil says it in this little quote thing.
That changed everything. Yeah. As soon as Shaq had to be an asshole and live in the moment and be recency bias hard body and go, Pat Riley is the best coach I've ever played for.
Yeah.
Phil got sensitive. What is it with all these basketball legends and being fucking emotional basket cases? What is up with this?
Well, you gotta think about it. When you're competitive, you're usually emotional. You usually
That's fair.
Sensitive.
That's fair. It's just like crazy. It's just crazy how like they're all so petty. They're just all so unbelievably petty. But Shaq responded Sunday by calling Phil Jackson a Benedict Arnold. For my history fans out there. Fucking, that's the guy who betrayed Lindsay. Who's Benedict Arnold?
What?
You don't know?
The guy from like the Revolutionary War?
Yeah, doesn't he like backstab George Washington? Isn't that Benedict Arnold? Thought so.
I mean,
fucking.
I need to brush up on my American history. I just know that he was from the Revolutionary War era.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Pretty sure he backstabbed George Washington. Some bullshit like that. But
guess what, Shaq? You ain't George Washington, motherfucker.
It'll be on the screen.
So goofy ass boy.
But how can a Benedict Arnold be reliable in what he says? Is what Shaq's direct quote was.
So Jackson probably just went like this. Like this. Wait, hold on. Sorry, like this.
Like this. Yes, you're trying to figure it out, trying to do the count.
Yeah, I'm just counting because I was like 6 at first, and then I was like, oh yeah, he got 3 more.
He's got like 3 more. No way. No, you just all of a sudden you're like, my thumb hurts. Yeah. My thumb hurts. I
can't see.
My thumb hurts. My thumb.
Can you see now? I think you can't see no more because all this bling.
Oh, good thing I have 9 rings, and now I think we'll go on all the fingers I have left.
Oh my god!
Fucking, but while Jackson and Kobe have grown close, Phil Jackson and Shaq have grown apart. Jackson has
now
not
does this make sense, guys? Keep on, Jackson, just keep reading.
Jackson has not even spoken to Shaq since his first Jacksonless championship last spring. All Jackson did, he said, was send a message through with his people, because Shaq had been squawking loudly about his Miami championship being the best one. Shaq also made some comments about Pat Riley above Jackson among coaches. I told him not to forget, Phil Jackson said of his message to O'Neal. He was saying how happy he was, and it was the greatest and everything. I said not to forget. Sometimes it's easy to overlook how happy he was in 2000, 2001, and 2002. But Jackson added with a laugh that he knew it to be O'Neal's nature to love the one you're with. Oh, man.
Yeah.
So
Shout
crazy.
out to Phil Jackson, boy. You know,
so crazy.
It takes a different kind of man, a growing man, a man that's like matured to understand when he was wrong and go to the right side. And that's why I appreciate Phil Jackson.
Yeah, I guess that's what this is. Or it's like, yes, Genie, I'll come. I'll do it. Fine. You got it. All right, honey. No problem. I'll join the team, whatever. Like, it could be that too.
No, absolutely not. He was trying to right the wrong. He looked at it and he's like, you know what? Shaq was a lazy motherfucker. And Kobe worked his ass off and we just treated him like shit. We should go back. I should go back and I should try to help him. That's what I think happened. Genuinely.
The last interesting part in this article, Shaq was spotted in workout shorts. Though, can they be called workout shorts? When he was not working out and had not been working out, it was more than a little shocking to see how atrophied O'Neal's legs have gotten during the time he hasn't been running. So, speculation is there's stress. There's stress is high for his return. What were you going to say?
Is Phil Jackson the one saying this, or was that the reporter guy?
That's the reporter talking about.
That's the same reporter that said like both teams won.
I think it's the same author.
This guy is 100% an LA guy. 100%. There's no way he's saying all this stuff and he's not like an LA guy.
But like also he's so dramatic. Atrophied, his legs atrophied.
Yep.
That's like what happens.
They look significantly
to, like,
smaller.
Patients.
I thought it was a good word.
I'm mad that you even knew what that word meant, Lindsay. Like
I know what it means.
Yeah, but
atrophy. It's what happens when you have a neck injury, and when your neck injury gets really bad, then the muscles in your arms start to atrophy. You get all fucked up, and
my man try to use it as. I hate y'all, man. Why you know what that means, man?
But January. So Shaq's still very injured. He won't be back for another month and a half, or another month. Towards the end of January will be his return. But the Clippers are going to beat the Heat, who are 15-17 and still the lowly ass soup Clippers, right? Led by Sean Livingston, who's about T-1.5 or 2 months before the ugliest knee injury to ever happen in the history of the game.
Yeah. I've never watched that. I've heard stuff about it, and I was just
it'll be on your screen right now. So like when I put out the episode, just feel free to watch this part.
No.
Horrible knee
You
injury.
shouldn't put that. I'm pretty sure they don't. Do they allow that stuff on YouTube?
Yeah, it's not like porn. If I find it on YouTube, it'll be on your screen. But this game is going to make Pat Riley lose his mind, literally, and Pat Riley is going to take a leave of absence after this lowly loss to the Clippers. And as you saw there, the Heat are 13-18 after this game. It is not looking good at all for Miami, who are trying to defend an NBA championship. But Pat Riley is taking a break from a season that has left him limping and in pain. The Miami Heat coach began an indefinite leave of absence because of hip and knee problems, choosing assistant Ron Rothstein to fill his spot on an interim basis. So he is just spent. Because as we know, he's not a big... He doesn't take losing well. Like, he's one of those guys. Losing is like crippling to him mentally. So I'm sure this 13-18 and the struggle of this season is like very hard on his psyche, and he's only getting older.
Yeah. But he also has like physical injuries. That's wrong with him.
Yeah. And
his knee and stuff.
Because last season he postponed that surgery he was going to do. So, just crazy. And so he's going to be gone for a while. Like, before the 23rd, so Shaq's going to come back. When's his first game back? So he's kind of, do we want to count these? Or these are like 15 minutes. He's not starting
like they were
here.
Trying to test him out, and then he probably
and then he's out another 2 games.
Yeah.
So he's really back to start February. Yeah. So before February, they're 20-25, so they're under 500 here, and they are like flirting with playoff contention right now. They're like hovering around that 8-9 spot.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy because Shaq's gonna have a couple of big games to like show, yeah, motherfucker, I'm healthy, like I look good. Couple of 20-point efforts here, high field goal percentage games, and they're gonna get to the 22nd against Dallas, the NBA Finals rematch, right?
Yeah.
Pat Riley's gonna make his return. They're all there. Wade's there, Shaq's there, Riley's there. First time, basically since the very beginning of the season. And what happens? Fucking this. This happens. Dwayne Wade going for a steal. Completely fucking destroys his shoulder. Shreds his shoulder against the Rockets in the fourth quarter. Going for a steal on, I think that's Shane Battier.
That's funny because, like, I completely feel, like, his pain. I've dealt with that stuff for so long. I've had, like, worse shoulder injuries, to be honest. But you completely see why. Like, his shoulder was going one way, and then it got, like, pushed and shifted to the other way, and it just probably popped right out of place.
So I want to actually praise Dwayne Wade right here. So I broke my collarbone when I was in 7th grade, right? I had a kid try to tackle me. We were playing football, and I had a kid tackle me by my collarbone and pull me my whole weight down by my collarbone, right? And I was laughed at and made fun of while I was crying hysterically because I needed a wheelchair to get to the nurse's office, but I didn't have a leg injury. Let me tell you, fucking, when you try to stand up and you have a shoulder injury, especially in something like this where it's separated out of the joint, or like in my case with the break, my fucking shoulder was down here, like it was like down to like my chest.
Yeah.
And when gravity takes hold, like you can't. It's just fucking. It's
Can
awful.
I tell a quick story?
Yeah, go ahead.
The first time my right shoulder shifts in and out of place still to this day. But back in, I want to say 2016, I was playing basketball. It was in December. It was a nice day in December. I went to steal a basketball, and my shoulder literally completely popped right out of place.
Like this? Like the way he did it?
It was worse. Like, it was 100% worse because it literally, you saw the shoulder literally like come out. Like, fuck. It was like, it was as if someone pulled it out of place, but it was just like straight up off of force. Yeah. So then that happened. You literally could see you could see my shoulder, like my shoulder's up here. It was right here, like by my chest.
Yeah.
You can just see that, like, there was nothing there. It almost looked like I was like deformed or something.
Yeah. That's what people said about my shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, my friend was telling me, like, I'll pop it right back in place. Like, I'll pull it and pop. I was like, if you even try to touch me, I'm
good night.
Even though, so I was like, I gotta go to the doctor. Like, I want a doctor to pop it. Especially when I saw that my shoulder was like down here. I was like, I gotta go to the doctor. But the whole thing is I couldn't walk because literally my shoulder, the pressure of your like your bones.
Yep, that's what it is.
And literally, like, you're trying to hold your bone up, but you can't really because you don't have that much, like, muscle holding it up.
You don't have all
you feel is the pressure every time you walk.
Your structure is just fucked.
An ambulance had to come, and it wasn't like they could just, because we were down by a pit area, and I had to walk up some stairs. So they had me walk up the stairs. It took me like a half an hour just to walk up the stairs because it was so painful.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I had to sleep sitting up, all that bullshit. Those shoulders are underrated injury in terms of just like that type of shit. But the Heat are going to go 11-4 in total in February, and he's obviously playing. He's playing well. He's getting back into form in February. But when Wade goes out, it's just like, oh man, what's said about Wade. This is a player with 10,000 pounds of talent and 12 ounces of ego. Thought that was an awesome say. Just thought that was an awesome quote about Wade.
Yeah.
And pretty accurate to describe his playing with Shaq. Like,
yeah, especially thus far. Yeah. I don't think at any point in his career, he's like, you can argue that he's probably he's like a top 5 selfless superstar of all time.
Sure. Yeah, that's a fair statement.
It's between him and Curry for me.
It's definitely a fair statement.
Yeah.
But the Heat, which is 2-8 without Wade this season, is in 8th place in the East. So there we go. They're in 8th. A percentage point behind Orlando, and a half game ahead of the Nets, and 2 games in front of the Knicks. Miami trails the Indiana Pacers by 2.5 games. So it's very close. It's all really fucking close down there.
Yeah. Yep.
Anything could happen, and they just lost their leading scorer, passer, and thief. He lead 28.8 points a game at this point, 8 assists, 2.1 steals.
Yeah.
Riley says,
literally the best player.
But by a wide margin at this point. Yeah. Undoubtedly, Wade is peak prime Wade right now.
Yeah.
The plan is to not expect Wade to come back and to adjust our individual games to figure out how we can better ourselves to help this team win. Every player has to do a little more to make up for his 29 points every game. So this article ends with, in the best case, the Heat will remain in contention for a playoff berth and then have Wade back for the final push. If Miami makes the playoffs, even in the 8th and final spot, it could be dangerous, especially because the team has so much playoff experience. Riley said Shaq and Mourning would play integral roles in Wade's absence. The worst case, Wade will not return this season, and the Heat will be embarrassed by missing the playoffs 1 year after winning the championship. I feel like we've seen teams in the league recently that this has happened to.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
Brooklyn was considered a dangerous 8 seed.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple the Lakers, when
the Lakers
Davis and then LeBron got hurt and they weren't putting it together in the regular season.
Yeah.
When they played Phoenix in round 1, they were considered a dangerous 7 seed.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen teams like this that just never get it together from a chemistry standpoint because their guys are just never on the floor all at once.
Yeah. 2013 Lakers remind me of that too. Just
really?
They were injured the whole season.
Yeah, they were injured. There was also just a lot of this.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like
Kobe and Dwight.
Like, it's because it's in LA though.
Maybe.
I feel like this just gets like super glorified when because it's in LA.
That and Kobe and Dwight are just the two complete opposite. Like, I love this little blurb written after Wade gets hurt. If you miss the days when the champion Lakers used to struggle early in seasons while Shaq healed, rested up, or saved it up for later, you'll enjoy seeing the Miami Heat. You'll enjoy seeing if the Miami Heat can close with a rush this season. The injury loss of Dwayne Wade changed the projection considerably, but it's very interesting. It's a very interesting opportunity to see what UCLA product Jason Capono can do. So they're comparing it to Shaq's time before Kobe blew up. And I just think that's a lot to ask for because that means Shaq's going to be putting up mad points. But the interesting part is, if you're looking at it on paper, you're looking at it like Heat are done. They're about to go on a losing streak. Yeah. It's about to get really ugly. But it's really the opposite. Like, after the Houston game, they finish out February 500, win 1, lose 1 every other game, right?
Yeah.
And then to start March, they go on this 9-game winning streak, right?
Yeah. Started off against Detroit too. So like that. Like, Detroit went to the Eastern Conference Finals this year. Like, it's not like it's a bad team, you know?
And Shaq has an awesome 31-point game. Like, and shows flashes of his old self.
31, 15, and 6.
That's a don't worry, guys. I know Wade's not here.
Yeah.
I'm here to fucking save the day and help
I'm
everybody.
still the big Aristotle.
Facts.
Yeah.
And they needed that.
Yeah, and 3. Like,
yeah,
insane.
They needed it bad.
Yeah.
But after they had such a negative record with Shaq or without Shaq. I was expecting them to have a really negative record without Wade, and they go 16-7 without Wade between the 22nd and April 6th of 2007.
Well, it goes back to Pat Riley knows how to play with a center. Like that's his thing, right? Like
true.
Yeah, and it's also Pat Riley wasn't there for a lot of those losses too because of his injury. Like he was there for a good amount of the losses, but he was also not there for some of it. So kind of, I don't think it's only a Wade thing because like he's 100% needed for this team to win a championship or even be close to winning a championship.
But Shaq, after that 31.15 rebound game against the Pistons, says, "I'm the baddest big man for my age bracket." I was the baddest at age 20, and now I'm the baddest at age 35. Just get it to me, and I'll go to work. And he's going to turn 35 later that week, as we know, because that's when he completely destroyed the Clippers. But even look, this game, Shaq, 24-9.
9 and 8.
They destroy Chicago. Assists. Is that 8 assists? I wasn't sure whether that was 8 assists or 8 rebounds. Yeah, 8 assists. Yeah. Almost a triple-double for Shaq. Yeah. Really playing outside his brain.
And Zoe ain't doing shit. They over here. He's over here. Parallel's like, yeah, we're going to need Shaq and Zoe, It's just like, still.
Shaq says, I take it personal when people don't double me. It's against my religion to not double me. Whatever the fuck that means.
Nah, I feel that. I used to say stuff like that all the time. I wasn't Shaq,
though. But Shaq's last quote from this article, "When I'm done playing, I want to sit back and say, I did this, I did that. Right now, I have 4, O'Neal said of his NBA titles, but I would like to have 5 or 6. I'm still a good-looking guy, a funny guy, still a lucky guy, so hopefully you guys will like me and write good things."
Yeah, because he was saying based off of his legacy, like he based off of his legacy, he's not the one that controls his legacy. It's the reporters, which is true, 100%. Like, because you can argue that's why like Kareem isn't talked about as much and stuff like that because like with all the shit that Kareem did, like if he was like cocksucked, he'd 100% be looked at as the GOAT.
It's a great phrase. Cock sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a universe where more people would look at him as the GOAT. That's, yeah. I was listening to somebody, I forget who it was, say the other day, it's like, do you really think a black Muslim guy in Milwaukee in the 70s
that was Cowherd.
Was getting fair criticism?
Yeah.
And it's like, probably not. It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Like, but Wade is going to come back towards the end of the year. They are going to make a crazy push. They finished the year playing much better than how they started it. And they're going to end up in the 4 seed in the East.
Which is insane because they thought that was like kind of best case scenario for Wade came. If Wade was there, they could.
Yeah, like the whole freaking experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they show up as 5th here, but due to the what do you call it? The rules. Yeah, the old division rules. They are They are technically 4th.
Yep.
So yeah, because they won their division, right? Yeah, they did. Somehow, this is the dog days of the East.
Yeah.
In terms of bad teams.
Yeah. And it's funny because like you see the Heat, the champions, have all these issues, and over on the right side, the Mavs are atop of the West.
They are
like,
amazing.
Get ready to get some revenge. I'm sure Mark Cuban's like, we about to get y'all asses for what we did. I mean, what y'all did to me last year.
And they both get destroyed in the first round. Insane.
One is way more like way just way more like embarrassing than the other, in my opinion.
So right before the playoffs, once the regular season wraps up, obviously Shaq's not up for any awards. He's not eligible for all NBA teams. So
half a season. So
yeah, he only plays 40 games here, so
yeah,
it is what it is. Figured I'd just get that out there. I think this is like the first time we've ever not looked at it at all. Like, we always at least look at it.
Yeah.
So, figured I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, this is his first major injury like that, I think.
True.
Yeah.
But relieved to be rid of the regular season and all of its banality. The players and the coach of the defending champion Miami Heat started projecting a familiar confidence these past few days that bordered on arrogance. They sound convinced that the playoffs are just what they need. Like older brothers who know better, the Heat seem to think little of a budding rivalry with the young and feisty Chicago Bulls. The Bulls, who skewered the Heat in 3 of their 4 meetings this season, played as if the regular season mattered. Not so in Miami. Miami never found consistency. They never found consistency from its lineup. And considering that Riley took a sudden 22-game leave of absence this winter to have knee and hip surgeries, the Heat, seeded 4th, has a rather formidable task of repeating. Crazy.
I wonder why they had that mentality. All these guys are nothing. You know, we'll get right through them. You know, we're back to the playoffs. We're back. Wade's back. We'll be fine. We're about to win a championship. I wonder why they had that mentality.
Who do you
totally a Shaq thought process.
Who do you think pushed that through?
Yeah.
Who the fuck do you think pushed that through?
Yeah.
Like, so here we go. Ready? Shaq, who at 35 carries the weight of 4 championship rings, said that he expects a postseason transformation. To your point.
Yeah.
I don't think we really have a switch. We're just veteran guys who know what we have to do and know what it takes. We have to play 16 perfect games. When you put it that way, there was no way you were winning this championship. Because that is impossible. No one's ever done it.
Yeah.
Ever. Even in games you win, they're not perfect.
Yeah.
But whatever FM they have to conjure up, fake motivation, that's on them. We know they're a young, energetic, pretty good team. They had a great regular season. We know what we have to do. So that's where their mentality is at going in. They're trying to puff their chest out. Chicago's never won a series in the playoffs since Jordan has left, which is going on almost a decade now at this point.
Yeah.
And the Bulls, led by a guy with unlimited stamina in Luol Deng.
And Luol Deng used to deadass cook our favorite basketball players. That's a fact.
Facts.
He used to straight up cook them.
Underrated. Underrated career. Not a Hall of Fame career, but very underrated.
Yeah.
And look who else is here, still relatively in his prime, playing long minutes.
Yeah.
Shaq's kryptonite. Fucking Ben Wallace.
Yeah.
Like, the guy who seems to give Shaq's teams more fits than anybody.
Yeah. Bully your bitch ass.
You also got a peak. I think this is Ben Gordon's best year.
Yeah.
Another guy people don't talk about in today's NBA.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's basically in his prime. Yes, he is in his prime. This is his best year up to this point. And shooting lots of threes. Like,
yeah. It definitely was the perfect perfect storm for the Heat, to be honest.
Yeah,
because they're playing at a much faster pace, right? Than the Heat want to play at.
Yep. I wonder what their pace is 90.6, which is definitely higher than what Miami wants to play at. They want to be in the 80s.
Yeah.
What was Chicago's pace for this season? Yeah, they're sixth in the league, 93.6. So that's they're sixth, and Miami is
probably one of the last.
Especially they gotta be.
Yeah, especially while Wade was out.
Yeah, 89.9, 25th. Yeah.
So that's exactly what they didn't want.
Yeah,
fast-paced team, and then you could tell that Chicago was clearly controlling the series because they're going at their pace. Faster pace.
And Ben Wallace is there to contain Shaq. Shaq had 19 points, 64% shooting, but only 26 minutes. 6 personal fouls out of the game, like in foul trouble. Wade, foul trouble, who's not back 100% from the shoulder injury. He comes back early from the shoulder injury, trying to help the team. Is able to help the team, but come playoff time, it's just hard to. It's very difficult.
And that only 3 he missed was the 3 to possibly, I think, tie the game or win the game.
Yeah, I'll try and have that footage on your screen.
Yeah.
But closer game, right, in game 1. That's really going to be as close as it gets for the series.
That was in Miami, right? Or is that in Chicago?
This is in Chicago.
Oh, because they have the better record? Because that doesn't make sense because Miami's the 4th seed.
Yeah, Miami is the 4th seed. I don't know why.
It's probably because of the better record.
Yeah, right? It's got to be. That'd be the only reason. Because Chicago does have a better record. We did. Right? We saw that.
Yeah, because you said, they're 49 and 33.
Yeah, so they do. They do have.
And the Heat are 44 and 38.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I guess that is what. That's weird. I didn't even know that was how it worked.
Yeah, that's weird as hell.
The more
they would have been 3rd seed if it was just normal rankings,
Yeah.
It's crazy. So pretty much the Heat were playing at the 3 seed rather than a 5 seed.
Yeah. And
which either way, those are always the toughest series, those 4-5s, because they're so close in talent. And
But game 2, more of the same. Shaq this time under 50%. Shot 43%, 17 points, 31 minutes, 7 turnovers for Wade and Shaq. Both of them. Each. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Just nauseating.
Shaq shot 42% from the field.
Yep.
That's insane.
Ben Wallace, man. The defense, man. Just destructive. And this time,
3 blocks, 2 steals.
The threes just annihilate them.
Yeah.
The threes just annihilate. The Bulls went 11 of 17 from 3. Yeah. Heat 5 of 16. Like, they stood no chance.
Gary Payton.
No chance.
DNPs. He was really at the end.
Who, Gary Payton? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, and pace is up again, 91.7. They're playing fast.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. 94 is the pace this time. Like,
it just keeps going up. They're playing faster and faster and faster and faster. And Wade's mobility is off.
Yeah.
And the Bulls are just playing with lots of energy. Like, they're playing confident and they're playing with serious energy. And this smells like every other Shaq team we've seen that's gotten swept in the past.
Yeah.
Smells just like that shit. Man, this starting 5 is just murdering with Andreas Nocioni as the 6th man coming in, getting buckets.
Do you just factor this into just straight up injuries that kind of mess with them in this series, or because I feel like
3 things? But go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say because I felt like at first when you went like that, I thought you meant stops. This is like
no.
Footage okay? No, but the
that's the end of the episode. It's over now.
Yeah.
So 3 things: age, chemistry, injuries. Like, you can't. Wade, Shaq, and Pat Riley combined in the regular season played less than 10 games together.
Yeah. It was 8 of 88 or something like that.
Yeah, nobody's ever won a championship under those circumstances.
Yeah.
Ever. Period. You need that chemistry. Wade's not the same guy at all because of his shoulder injury. Makes it really hard to shoot when you can't fucking get your arms up.
Yeah.
And half of this team is fucking over 30. Like I was saying. A lot of the guys who played last year really, really well, like Jason Williams, who really came through big during the playoffs last year, not the same people.
Yeah.
Playing like
what
shit.
What that reminds me of? The 2020 Clippers. How they didn't have chemistry at all because they didn't really play that many games together. They kept blaming it on the amount of games that they played, even though they could control the amount of games that they played.
Yeah, see, that's different. That's different because they were actually injured.
Yeah, no, I know.
They were just load managing. I just wanted
to say that.
They were managing their heavy load.
Yeah.
Their thick, heavy load. Creamy load. Lindsay, dead silent.
I start to ignore you when you guys get really fucking outlandish sometimes.
That's Lindsay's line for outlandish. Fucking talking about the Clippers' heavy loads.
So game 4 happens and the Heat get jizzed on.
Absolutely creamed up. It's that baby making cum. Like it's not that like, transparent. It's that thick, lots of you can see the sperm.
Man, what you doing?
In the jizz.
No, come on.
I'm describing the cum to the audience.
Extra for no reason.
That's not what they want. They don't want to hear about that. I think we have 20% women. Most of them will probably want to hear that. Maybe.
Nope.
I don't know.
Tell them no.
Write
in the comment section and let them know. Just say no, and we're gonna know what you mean.
Just let them know. Let me know if
it'll
you
be
like
a month
semen.
from now. Like
if you like semen, give me a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no way that can't. I'm pretty sure Future also has to cut that.
I love this program. What do you mean? I said it. If I sound like an asshole all the time, I'm good with it.
He's good. I'm telling you, Future also gonna be like, "No, I can't do that."
We'll see. Everybody's sad after the sweep. Yeah. So Shaq and Riley were Shaq, giant tears.
Pat Riley, I only coach big man. I don't know how.
Yeah, that's the interesting part. So it wasn't 8 of 88 possible. It was 8 of the 82 regular season games. So they were just looking at the regular season.
Oh, okay.
So including these 4, it would have been 12 out of 86 possible games.
Yeah.
Fucking not a lot.
Bad percentage, yeah.
But Miami became the first defending champion to be swept in the first round since the 1957 Philadelphia Warriors won 2 in a row against the Syracuse Nationals in a best-of-3 series. So basically, they're the first team to ever be a defending champion and get swept in the first round.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, because the 56, whatever the fuck they are, we don't even know.
I respect the 60s, but we're talking 50s? Sorry, George Mikan. That's too far for me. That's too much. They didn't even have a shot clock.
Yeah, I don't even gotta say anything. You guys just know what
the strategy of the game in the 50s was we're gonna hold the ball for the whole game and not shoot it. There were scores of 8-6. Terrible.
I would smoke dudes in the 50s. I know for a fact.
Yeah, you have a chance.
Even right now, like I can't even play. Smoke them.
I have 2 bum legs. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Fucking. O'Neal said softly, because he's soft, "We tried to make a series of it. They did everything right. Shot the ball well, played good defense, got all the loose balls." That was his quote. But this is what Pat Riley said, and this is how we're going to finish this episode. Riley says, "The game has become a game of speed. I've always been a post-oriented coach. I've been blessed to have 4 of the greatest players ever. Kareem, Patrick, Alonzo Mourning, and Shaq. I don't know any other way to go. I mean, I could learn it, Riley added with a laugh. But I choose not to.
Oh, you learning.
How do we feel about that? Because, like, obviously he's going to go on to be the general manager of this Heat team up until present day. Like, we're in 2022. He's still the head honcho of the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Like, so clearly he does figure it out.
Yeah. I think it's just different to coach than it is to, like, see talent and put it together. It's just two completely different jobs. But I think you just take yourself out of all-time greatest coach considerations when you say something like that.
That's heavy.
That's my opinion. Heavy blow. So yeah, because like you should be as an all-time great coach, you should be able to adjust to different. Like,
so that's why I had Greg Popovich as probably my favorite coach ever for the GOAT. Like that would probably, if I had to pick one, gun to my head, I think I would pick Popovich. And it's why I struggle with a guy like Phil Jackson being unquestioned. Like, I'm not saying he's not in the conversation, and I'm not saying Pat Riley's not in the conversation. But I have problems with these guys being like, Phil Jackson, he's the fucking greatest ever. Coach Jordan, Coach Kobe, Coach Shaq, Coach all these guys. Yeah. Legend, 11 most championships. Like,
I just think the dominance is why he has to be in there. Like, but like
same for Pat Riley. Same for Pat Riley. I feel like he's
like
with the 80s. Like,
so that's the thing. Like Phil technically dominated two separate eras, right? The 90s and the 2000s. He won 6 championships in the 90s, 5 in the 2000s. Yeah. So like Greg Popovich, obviously his coaching has went into 3 different decades. Right. And he only won 5 chips, and he hasn't won anything without Tim Duncan.
Yes, but
and he
combining what happened with Pat Riley and what happened with Phil Jackson, he dominated while switching styles in 2 different periods of time. I'm wondering what Steve Kerr is going to look like as we keep going, because obviously he won championships with 2 relatively different rosters, but the play style was similar. Like, in terms of what they're doing with the ball and how their offense runs, the play style is similar.
Yeah.
So
I just think that play style with the Greg Popovich play style mixed with like what Steve Kerr, like what he's doing right now is like as long as you have some talent there, I think you can, and the right pieces in place, you could win it. Like, you could have a chance at least.
Yes.
Like,
but that's what's going to be interesting to see as we go forward is, as we're talking about with Pat Riley, as we've seen with the triangle, like, eventually these offenses become somewhat outdated, or like, if you don't make changes, you're going to find yourself, in these types of situations where you're not getting the success that you used to get. So it's just interesting because I wonder, I'm really curious about that as we go forward. Like, and, I wonder if how long it's going to take for that Warriors system to be caught up with, or like, it's already being replicated or like being attempted to be replicated.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they get to a point where that happens. But it was really interesting to hear Pat Riley be like, "Oh, I like an old curmudgeon. Like, there's no sense in changing now." Like, I was really surprised to hear that.
Yeah,
personally.
Well, to answer your Warriors thing, I think the way that teams have tried to stop that offense is switch on everything. That's where that came from. Like with
it's just hard
and stuff. It's super difficult.
It's super difficult. You have to have the personnel and the skill to do it. And it's just, soon there will, maybe not soon, but like at some point, somebody's going to have an answer for that besides switching, or like it's going to be like a half zone, half switch, like something crazy is going to happen. And we're going to get newer, more sophisticated basketball as a result, because that's what always happens.
Yeah.
Which is dope. But a season of disappointment. They were unable to defend. And next season is about to be somewhat of a roller coaster because Shaq's going to start on one team and finish on another.
Hey guys, if you like what you heard, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Just type in Apex Greatness on YouTube to see everything we put out this year. From legacy breakdowns to current NBA and NFL content. We have over 150 videos to binge if you're that type of person, or just to listen to in your spare time. We have about 2 to 5 hours of new content every week. Check us out. Later.